So we talk about the 7 stages of meditation practice. For chant practice, supposedly is the so-called sudden alignment. So usually they don't talk about what state you're in. You just practice. But this is what traditionally passing down like this. But nowadays, in the modern time, when we practice, then if you just come and sit like the older time, where people just come in and then sit, and they will not tell you whatever, you just sit together with everyone. But nowadays, it's different. For modern time, people will find that they can't do it like this. And therefore, my Sifu, our Shiko, make it out a diagram so that everyone could follow and know what state they're in. But it is different with the state of the so-called traditional gradual practice, which is, you practice very well so that you enter into the first dhyana, second dhyana, third, and the fourth, and so forth. So this one here is different in the sense that it's starting from the beginning, right from the beginning, that it shows it shows into a 7 steps or 7 phases of meditation. The first one you can see in phase 1 with quite a lot of crooked lines and then dots. Now this refers to a scattered state of mind or a wandering thoughts state of mind, where we will think of this and that, nice. Sometimes we think of things that are happening, in the moments ago, or sometimes we think about something that is long time ago, and it's like many years ago that something that happens, and then there's no organized at all. It's not organized at all. So we think of this and that, and it's up and down, and you can say that it's in a state of confusion. Sometimes we think about certain things that we're working, and then we have to concentrate on certain things. Yes, there's more like a concentrated state of mind. But usually in our daily life, it's not like this. It's just anyway. So that is the phase 1 where there's no method of meditation. And then when we start to learn about meditation and learn about, we have a method that we could use to help us to be more concentrated. Then we come to phase 2. And over here, usually we use the analogy of the method of counting your breath, which is counting from 1 to 10, 1 to 10, with each out breath. Every time when it comes, we're breathing out, we give a number silently. And on phase 2, you can see the dots and then also crooked lines, as well as some line that is broken, but it's kind of a little bit of continue. So the one in the center, the lines that is in center, referring to the method of counting the breath. While we are counting the breath, then we count to 1 and 2 and 3, and then we were disrupted by obvious wandering thoughts. Those are the crooked line, like the wombs. And then besides that, there are dots, the white dots, referring to here and there with thoughts, almost like in the background. That is the second stage of meditation, where we feel a little bit, I have a method to use, but I'm still using it unfamiliarly. And then I'm still figure out how to do my breath and how to count my number, and things like that. Right? So this is the second phase. And with discipline, we come to phase 3, which in the middle you see that the line is not broken, but it is not a straight line. It's kind of crook, right? And the numbers is from 1 to 10, 1 to 10. And then once in a while, they are quite obvious, or we can say that coarse thoughts that come in. And I noticed, or we noticed, I have a thought, but I still want to, I'm still counting my number. So the number that I count, the center lines, is crooked because I was disturbed by some coarse thoughts. But I hold on to my method, which is the phase number 3. And then the white dots become less. You see that it's not that many anymore. So this is the phase 3. And continue on with the method. You see now it depicts in a straight line, which is 1 to 10, 1 to 10, continuously. While on the two sides, there are dots, white dots. Now, this time, we have even fewer dots. That referring to because of the concentrated state of mind that I'm continuing on with my method. And then once in a while there are thoughts, but these thoughts, they are not obvious. It sounds like it's something in the background, and it's not obvious of what kind of thought is that. It's just like something that in the back there. So on phase 4, we already feel the joy of meditation. And because one continue on with the method, counting from 1 to 10, 1 to 10 continuously. Therefore, very, very few of the wandering thoughts that is there. That is phase 4. And then when we come to do it again continuously, using the method, then we don't see the white dots anymore. But this time, actually, on phase 4, we have one straight line there. When it comes to phase 5, we have 3 straight lines. Now, these 3 straight lines referring to the I know that I'm doing the breath. I'm counting my breath. And this is the I that I'm doing it. And then the second line is the number. And then the third line is the breath. So in phase 4, one line there, actually in one line, it contains 3 things: the number, the breath, the I that is doing it. This time, we don't see the white dots anymore, but that is the thing that is continuously, right? So from phase 1 is a scattered state of mind. From phase 2 to phase 5 is the concentrated state of mind. But concentrate state of mind, it divides into 4 things or 4 phases that is coming from the still not so concentrate, but using a method. And starting with that is gradually the scattered thought will be decreased until the number 5, where there is no wandering thoughts, but just the 3 things and continuously going on like this. And this is a concentrated state of mind. And sometimes we refer to the state number 5 as a state of realization of a small self, right? And then continue on to number 6. Number 6, it is called the unified state of mind. Now, this unified state of mind referring to unified of the body and the mind. It becomes one. It is not separated, but it is one. This oneness here could be the oneness of the breath and the person that is doing it. They don't feel that there is any separation. So it is the unification state of mind of body and mind. So that is number 6. And then the number 6 there, it could be that the oneness of the state of body, mind, and also environment. Usually what we feel is, this body is my body, and whatever that is outside environment. Say, for example, we're sitting here, we are facing the iPhone or the mobile phone. So the mobile phone is outside of us, and I am sitting here. I am myself, right? And now when we come to the phase 6, then we feel like the iPhone is never separate from me. It's just one with me. We don't feel the separation there. So that itself is another state of unification. And this, we name it the so-called the large self, the big self, which is to come from number 5, which is a small cell. We go into the large self, which is oneness with the body and mind, also oneness with the environment, I and the environment. When people reaching there, they don't feel like the outside environment is separate from them. They feel like, oh, this is one, right? So number 6, the level could be shallow, as well as level could be in depth. Now, from number 2 to number 4, we could also see that even in that kind of meditation state, we are coming from the concentration state of mind where it's shallow. It's we have a lot of wandering thoughts, and then afterward we have fewer wandering thoughts, and then even fewer wandering thoughts, and we come to where we don't feel that there is any wandering thoughts anymore. So even from number 2 to number 5, you could see the different levels of concentration. So on number 6, we will also feel that on number 6, there are also different levels of. It could be shallow and it could be in depth. Yeah. Now, number 6 here, the oneness of the mind could be that one may be experienced in a short period of time, and for someone, they could experience for a long time. Long time referring to could be 1 month, could be 1 week, and for a short one, maybe just 1 day, or maybe just 1 hour or 1 period of sitting. That's it. And for number 6, sometimes it's very comfortable, and we feel like the whole world is with you. You feel very happy, and you feel a lot of love to everything, because everything is yourself, right? That is number 6. But that itself, some people will consider it as an enlightened state of mind. But for a Chan practice, it is not, because we still have the so-called self that exists there. Although this self could be very lovely, very encompassing, right? But that is not enough. So somehow we have to even transcend the numbers, the phase 6, into phase 7, where we transcend this large self. So to go beyond the large self, which is from the beginning of the practice, from phase 2 to phase 5, we continue on letting go of the wandering thought, letting go of everything that is not related to the methods, right? Until we reach number 5. And even with number 5, we also need to let go so that we could reach number 6. And now when we come to number 6, it could be very tricky, because it is so pleasant, it's so enjoyable. People have the tendency of holding on to it. And then that's the thing, that if they still have something that they hold on to it, then it's not the state of liberation, right? So even you have to let go of that, of that big self, of that oneness there, so that everything is let go of, then we could reach the state number 7. Now, the word here we use no mind and no self doesn't mean that the mind is blank. Doesn't mean that I am not there anymore. So this word here, no mind, no self, the no self here referring to the habitual tendency that we have very firmly, that we are connected, or we are very much self-centeredness. The self-centeredness of the ego will disappear at that time, right? So that's why it's called no self or no mind here. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't have thoughts, but the thought that are not related to vexations. And that is the phase 7. Now, when we are on number 5, we still use the method. And the method here is the method of the breath. Now, when we come to number 6, then the moment that we experience that, we don't feel, there's no number there that we are using, but we just feel oneness. But because of this oneness, could be long or could be short. And when it's long, then we just stay in that state. But when it subsides, then we need to again return to our method, use the method again. I'm sorry. So that's what happens. Now we'll go to the questions. Okay, first, the experience in phase 6, unified state of mind. It said can be shallow and deep. What does it mean by shallow or deep experience? Well, this here, shallow and deep, depends on the person's to experience how vastness it is. And then deep and shallow could also mean that the mind is just opened up very, very, very vast. And also that as I said, the time, the period of time that the person experienced, for some people, they could experience for a few months. Right? That is something very profound. And if we just experience, in this period, I experienced my mind is very clear. I remember everything that I experienced in maybe one period, and that's it. Some people will last for half a day. Some people will last for one day. Just be with that. So that you could feel right there. That's what is in depth, of that feeling there, right there. So it's shallow or deep experience. Okay. Number 2, question number 2. Phase 5 mentioned that there is effort on applying the method. How about in phase 6 and 7? Are both already resolved and no longer require efforts, or we still apply our method when in either phase 6 or 7? on phase 6, when you are feeling one, because it is oneness, so that the number, it's not there if we use the method of counting the breath. So the number is not there, and we just actually we don't really use, when you experience that, you don't use the method, but just stay in that state of mind there. But when the strength of the power of it subsides, then we return. Then we have to use the method again, right? And on number 7, well, from number 6 to number 7 is that number 6, once we experience the unification state of mind, then in our daily life, what our Shukong taught us is that once you reach number 6, then in our daily life, you try to see anytime that the self or the vexations that happens there, you need to practice to let go right there. Let go of that. You know, any attachments that they have, just let go, just put down. Attachment to the, say for example, the mother, you know, like with the son or the daughter, very much attached. And the feeling of attachment right there, at the moment, the person has to just put it down, just let it go, not to let it develop, right? So one could reach number 7. But when one reaches number 7, there's no self there, but still functioning in everyday life. And and in the number 7 state, then one will still, if one is already experienced that, then at that moment that we don't use the method. But in back to the everyday life, they still will use the method. Of course, here the method is, the approach to the method is different, is that in a sense that they try to reach, or they still have a method to use, but let me give you an example of the method of Huatou, where one is experience the shattering of the doubt sensation, and then in our in the daily life, one will just still, Sugong use the word, you will just watch Huatou rather than investigating the Huatou. You watch the Huatou. That is to say, it reminds you, okay. It reminds you that, okay, you're there. So we still use the method. So it's the same thing with phase 6 and phase 7. Afterward, we still use the method. But the approach of the method is almost like effortless, because we already experienced, say, the number 5, which is the concentrated state of mind. And then number 6 is oneness. And then afterward, just try to be, to use the method again. Still use the method, but the approach is very different, in a sense that it is effortless. You have to really put yourself much into it. Now the thing with the method that we're using, if the power of, or the strength it's like disappeared, then somehow we need to go back to use the method with effort, right? So the difference is there. Now people will ask, what happened if I was not using the method of the breath? Well, if you use the method of following your breath, then on number 5, there you only have the me, I'm doing the breath, and the thought of in and out. So it is different, it's there. But the other one, it's the same thing that apply to other methods as well. Say, for example, I'm reciting Buddha's name, right? So when I come to number 5, I am doing the Buddha's name. And this Buddha's name here, just like number 5, where you have the number, but now the Buddha's name, you have the name of the Buddha, which is, say, if you have four words, Ami Tofo, then it's 4 words. If you have 6 words, then you still have 6 thoughts there, which together with the I am doing it, right? So it's with a different approach. We still need to go from a shallow state of concentrated mind to a concentrated state of mind. And whatever method that we're using, we could use that analogy to see. And then when it comes to number 6, then I'm unified with the method that I'm using. That's number 6, phase 6. Okay. So to talk about here, now remember, when we use this method, then you're meditating and then you're thinking, okay, I'm on number 4, right? Am I? If you're thinking like this, then you're back to number 2. So when we're doing it, we don't, think about this. But after meditation, we may use it as a reference that, oh, okay, I was on what phase,